Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show. The A-Train, Anthony Harmon, is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar, of course, as the official store of high school sports in West Virginia and the official convenience store of Marshall University. And we are brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. If you're in the market for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck, come check out the 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ in High Country today. Find new roads to Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to total savings at Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 to Chapmanville. Hope everybody had a great weekend, had a chance to enjoy the fantastic weather yesterday. It looks like it's going to continue today. Get out there and enjoy. Take off. Just go ahead and take off work. Just tell them that Dave said that it was okay. Coming up a little bit later on the show, tomorrow is the opening day of the girls' state basketball tournament at the Coliseum and Convention Center. The girls this week, the boys next week. The king of high school sports in West Virginia, Fred Persinger, is going to join us to talk about that a little bit later on. Plus, Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin is here. Today is a solemn day in Charleston as we mark the 75th anniversary of the Woolworth fire in this city, and some events are planned downtown to talk about that. We will talk to the mayor about that. Plus, as always, your calls and texts are welcome. Again, Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Want to welcome into the show now candidate for Congress, and of course, everyone I think pretty much knows this guy. He's actually been on the show before he rose to international fame and fortune, talking about Derrick Evans. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Now, you were on the show a couple of years ago when you were running for the legislature, a race that you won but then had to step down from. So I'm going to go ahead and address the proverbial elephant in the proverbial room, sir. Your side of what happened on January 6th.
Well, I mean, obviously, first I want to say that the election was stolen from President Trump and the American people. And I'm the only elected legislator in the entire country who had the courage to go stand with the American people that day to peacefully and patriotically protest. I was not violent. I was not destructive. Everything is on video. People can go to my social media page and watch the video for themselves. I walked through an open set of doors. I thank the police officer for his service. The same police officer gives me a friendly fist bump, inviting me into the building. I said, "God bless you, sir. Thank you for your service." I spent less than 10 minutes inside the public rotunda area, exercising my natural God-given rights of free speech. Thanked the police officer again, walked out the same set of doors I entered, and the same weaponized deep state that's currently going after President Trump, I was the only elected Republican they could get their hands on, so they came to my house in West Virginia, ripped me away from my wife and my 4 young children, threw me in solitary confinement, and held me hostage as a January 6th political prisoner.
So if you say it was peaceful, and I'm willing to give you the benefit, or at least your part was, why did you show up in an Army helmet? I mean, people don't normally do that, if it's a peaceful protest, sir.
Well, you don't normally have Antifa, BLM people beating people up throughout the summer either, and the month before in D.C. That's not something that's very typical either. So most of the people who showed up there wearing some sort of helmet or whatever else was there in case they were to be attacked by Antifa, BLM, which had happened the month before and happened all throughout the year.
So that having been said, why do you want to run for Congress?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. This is one of the reddest districts in the entire country. We deserve a Freedom Caucus member who's going to stand on the national stage and beat the drum of freedom, not only for Southern West Virginia, but for every single God-fearing American conservative across the country. We don't have that right now. That's what I'm going to bring to the table. And quite frankly, this weaponization of a government is getting out of hand. What they did to me is what they want to do to every single conservative Christian across this country. And I'm going to use my experience, the terrible experience I went through, take that to D.C. and try to prevent this from happening to other people.
So what do you think that Carol Miller has not done as a congresswoman?
Well, I think it'd be easier to talk about the things she has done. She's voted to send billions and billions of our tax dollars to Ukraine. She's voted to fund the Green New Deal. She helped roll out the red carpet for Bill Gates when he came to West Virginia to bring his globalist agenda here, which we do not need. She voted to force our military members to receive, force them to receive the COVID vaccine if they wanted to continue their career in the military. These are all things that I do not stand for. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in individual freedom, individual liberty. I believe in limited government. If it was up to me, I would like to defund and abolish all these federal unconstitutional three-letter agencies and return the power back to the states where it belongs.
Why do you say they're unconstitutional, sir?
Well, they are unconstitutional. They
Okay.
are. We have unelected bureaucrats who are creating laws and enforcing laws and running our country behind the scenes right now with no accountability. The federal government was formed by the states, not the other way around. And right now, there's too much power at the federal level. This power is supposed to originate at the local level and work its way up where there's actual accountability.
Talking again with Derrick Evans, who is a candidate for Congress on 580 Live and the Dave Allen Show. Let's go back to January 6th. Do you have any regrets at all about that day, sir?
No, I really I don't. Not for what I did. No, I didn't do anything violent or destructive. I stood up for what I believe in. I stood there and peacefully and patriotically exercised my natural God-given rights. I think people have to remember that our rights do not come from the government. Our rights come from God, our Creator. And the Constitution was written for really one reason. It was written to prevent the government from infringing on our natural God-given rights. And so I was there that day exercising those natural God-given rights of free speech. I regret that the most powerful, corrupt government in the history of the world decided to label me and come after me. I regret that the fake news media slung my name through the mud and spread lies about me. But that's one of the things that's going to make me dangerous to the establishment, to the deep state as a member of Congress, and that's why the American people are going to love me. There's nothing this federal government can do to me that they haven't already done. There's nothing the fake news media can say about me that they haven't already said. I don't have to tiptoe around any of those things. I'm not running to make friends. I'm not running to play patty cake politics. I'm running to kick in the front door and expose the corruption in D.C.
Why did you plead guilty, sir?
Well, there comes a time when you realize that there's no winning in D.C. We see these corrupt judges. We see a corrupt court system. We have a tainted jury pool. They refuse to move the trials out of D.C. to where people can get a fair trial. They refuse to give you exculpatory evidence, which they're supposed to be doing under the Brady rule. And so I've got 4 kids. You're facing 24 years in prison, potentially more. And it comes to a situation of you look around, you say there's no way to win. How do we lose the least amount? That way we can circle back around and live to fight another day. And that's what I chose to do.
How's the campaign been?
Campaign is going great right now. We're excited. We out fundraised Congresswoman Carol Miller last quarter. We believe we're probably going to out fundraise her again this quarter. We're probably getting close to 10,000 donors at this point. We're endorsed by General Flynn, Mike Lindell, Veterans for Trump, Oil and Gas Workers Association. We think things are looking good right now. The people in West Virginia are not happy with the current moderate, if you will, representation that we're getting in D.C. Once again, this is one of the reddest districts in the country. People are hungry and wanting someone who's going to stand up and fight back against the deep state who's infringing on our rights here in West Virginia. And they know, without a doubt, that I'm going to do that.
Where can people learn more about your campaign, Derrick?
Yeah, they can go to our website, evans4wv.com. That's Evans, EVANS, 4wv.com. You can head over there, learn more about our campaign. You can follow me on any of the social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, all those good places. So, yep.
As I do with every candidate, Derrick, I'm going to give you what I call the final 30, uninterrupted by me. Why should people vote for Derrick Evans?
Well, first, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And thanks for asking the tough questions. I don't shy away from questions. Anybody can reach out to me and ask questions as well. But like I said, man, this is one of the reddest districts in the entire country. We have a very moderate representative. Carol Miller has a 65% liberty score right now, meaning she votes with the Democrats 35% of the time. One of the things I forgot to mention, she also voted to help fund abortion through Obamacare, taxpayer-funded abortion. I'm running to kick in the front door, expose the corruption in D.C., and bring a conservative voice to this district, to D.C. So love being on the show. Appreciate it, and looking forward to representing the people in D.C.
All right, Derrick, I wish you the best of luck in the campaign. We'll talk again soon, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, 917, Derrick Evans, again, candidate for Congress on the Republican ballot. The Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, brought to you by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, you may want to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. We got Mayor Amy Goodwin coming up here in a matter of moments. Fred Persinger, and we're going to talk a little bit about the closing of budget tapes and records. Before we get to the mayor, before we go to break, though, allow me to say, now, I got a bunch of texts to get to about Derrick Evans being on the show, and we'll get to those here in a matter of moments. Allow me to say this. I can't possibly read all the texts that I've gotten since I announced last week that Mr. Evans would be on the show today. It started last week with texts and emails, direct messages, and social media. Some are upset that I would give Derrick Evans time on the show. And I've made no secrets on my thoughts on Donald Trump in January 6th. It was probably the darkest day of my time on Earth, and that takes in 53 and a half years. Many ways worse than 9/11 because the enemy came from within this time, not from abroad. That having been said, you have to understand Derrick Evans is a legitimate candidate for Congress in District 1. I may not like it, you may not like it, but it is what it is. And if you've learned nothing about Dave Allen in the nearly 4 years I've done this show, it's this: I'm a firm believer in free speech, whether I agree with it or not. I never once turned down a request from someone wanting to be on this show, political candidate or otherwise. Derrick Evans people reached out to me last week about him coming on the show, and I said yes. And if you have a problem with free speech, whether you and I agree with what the guests on the show are saying, then this probably is not the show for you. I feel that everyone deserves a voice. I catch just as much flack for having Mike Pushkin and Greg Thomas on the show as I've gotten with Derrick Evans. There are people in this world who don't want to hear any other thoughts or beliefs other than their own, and that's quite unfortunate. And this show, as long as I host it, will continue to be a show where all voices will be heard. So there. Text says, does Derrick Evans understand he's still a convicted criminal? I think he does. Text says, kicking in the front door is probably not a phrase the guy like Derrick Evans should be using, says a texter. Text says, wow, what a piece of work. Would love to see his actual proof the election was stolen. He needs therapy and a real job, not a seat in government, says a texter. Texter says, he's the sucker and loser Trump speaks of, anti-American, supports dictatorship and takeover of democracy. Got news for MAGA, it's not going to happen. Text says, if every conservative Christian stormed the Capitol while wearing a motorcycle helmet like Derrick, then yeah, they should be punished like he was, says the texter. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Brightway Insurance, the Mays agency of Tays Valley, locally owned, operated by an Air Force veteran and a former teacher. When it comes to insurance, they are everything you've been looking for. Brightway offers expertise from real local agents, real people, not a 1-800 number. Call John or Sherry Mays today, 304-814-2509. We're back with the mayor after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
Are you looking for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck? Hey, it's Sydney, inviting you to find new roads with Thornhill and check out the new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ and High Country at Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Right now, you can get 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. It's an opportunity to save big on the new Chevy truck that'll haul the winter blues away. Find new roads to Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to total savings. US 119 Chapmanville. All offers through GM Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Legislators have 400 million reasons not to touch West Virginia's unemployment fund. That's how much our state's unemployment fund currently has. $400 million you and I worked hard for to protect us if we lose our job. Why would politicians cut money we earned and rely on? Cutting unemployment, making it harder on our families is not why we sent them to Charleston. Tell legislators, hands off our unemployment. It's our money, not theirs.
Paid for by the West Virginia AFL-CIO.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at omegacommercialinteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
923 phone calls for Dave Allen Show in service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by from farm to table. Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. Find the perfect over-the-counter hearing aid at Fruth with NuvoMed hearing aids. Plus, Fruth makes it easier to transfer your prescription services to them. They are your hometown family pharmacy. Texas Day, Friday morning, Blaze Media journalist Steve Baker was taken into FBI custody over January 6th, reporting he did not participate in the riots. He walked through the doors while a New York Times reporter climbed through a window, by the way. You can see Capitol security videos of him inside the Capitol, walking around taking photos. Yep, that's a dangerous individual, all right. By the way, asking Evans why he wore a helmet. I asked why were the Capitol Police dressed in riot gear before all hell broke loose. Conservative rallies had always been peaceful. They were always nice, respectful, and cleaned up trash afterwards. Don't see BLM or Antifa being that way, do you, says a texter. Charleston Mayor Amy Goodwin is here. Good
morning, my friend. I'm just looking over this West Virginia vacation guide. The Almost Heaven Shines Bright. It's your, I know I'm not here for tourism, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. WVTourism.com. This is a beautiful travel guide.
I've seen that, yeah.
It's gorgeous. You can get it for free, and it talks about all of the wonderful places that you can go in West Virginia if you like to eat, shop, hike. That was free commercial.
Once a tourism person, always a tourism person.
I mean, they're just killing it. I mean, Chelsea Ruby, the secretary and her entire team, they're just killing it. Stuff that I see produced, and it's just absolutely wonderful, because that's why we're actually all, in what we do. We love where we are, and you can tell that the people who work at tourism love what they do, because this guide is one of the best. It's really good.
I had on last week the CEO of the bicycle.
I know, I'm so excited.
That are coming, and Tim Brady was able to set that up. Man, that is an absolutely fantastic, huge event for Charleston coming up.
It's absolutely huge. We are so thrilled to have secured this cycling event, and the best bikers in the country, the best bikers. It's the biggest week in bike racing. What's really neat about this is the folks who win the elite men's and women's time trials this year automatically qualify for the Olympic Games in Paris. That's big. So the folks that you see cycling in Charleston, West Virginia, you're going to be able to see compete in the Olympics, which is just amazing. Lots of moving parts to get this. Obviously, our CVB did an amazing job. And I will give credit where credit is due. Also, our local cycling community, they're also the reason why we got this, to the likes of Teddy Armbrecht and Todd Goldman and just so many who literally put this together for us and met the team when they came in, Jack Hoblitzel, Bradley Schmaltzer. And they wooed them, and they said, we get biking, we get road racing, let us help you that. And the guy who runs the road race, the guy who literally sets up and says, okay, we can take this route or we should do this route, said to me as late as last week, you got great roads. I said, don't say that too loud. It's pothole season right now. We're filling a lot of potholes right now. But he said, we would have never come here had you not put in the infrastructure in your roads. Now, we got a lot of work to do for sure. But for the event, we're fired up. It is going to be wonderful. We called it last week, Dave. We came up with Chris, one of the guys who helps run this event for USA Cycling. He said, Amy, it's like a rolling regatta. And he's not wrong. It's like a rolling regatta.
It is a regatta on wheels.
And when you see these bikers go up Bridge Road and down Loudon as fast as they can.
Several times.
I mean, talk about puke on your shoes.
I was going to say, like I said last week when I had the gentleman on, I said, I don't even want to drive that sometimes.
If you've ever walked up Bridge Road, and I have, it's hard to walk up, my friend, slowly. So,
the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. From kitchens to paints, decks, straight framing wood, roofing, metal, everything else you need, you'll find at General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. I've got Fred Persinger coming up a little bit later on the show. Mayor, the girls and boys state basketball tournament tip off now with 4 classes, Quad A. Tip off tomorrow, the girls, the boys next Tuesday. A lot of folks heading into Charleston this week, Mike.
I'm so excited about it, and I am always reminded when I was in high school and I played basketball and we came to states, and then coming down to watch the boys basketball game, driving down and then driving back because my parents would never let me spend the night. It was wonderful. It was wonderful then. It's wonderful now to watch these great competitions happen. And obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, yay, Charleston. Not only do we have basketball, but we just secured football. And the one that I've really wanted, and, Tim Brady laughed at me the second I got into office. It was like the first or second week. I said, I want cheer. We lost cheer. I want cheer back because cheerleading is a serious sport that brings in serious dollars for the city of Charleston. And they did Huntington. And Huntington was a great place, certainly. And certainly my hat off to all of the cities who compete in these. But I'm so thrilled to have not only volleyball back, but football new and also back since 2018 cheerleading. Fired up about it.
I want to ask about the football thing before we move on to some other things. And what all went into that? I know you can't necessarily get into all the specifics, but Charleston, Wheeling's had it since 1994, I think it was, and Bluefield was into Runnington. There was a combo deal put together where it would rotate between WVU and Marshall. They kind of worked together on that. But Charleston got it back. What exactly did it take to get that?
Sure, I think, and I'm not trying to be cute or coy with this answer, Dave, a lot of hard work from a lot of folks. Commissioner Slanko called me months ago and said, hey, let's do this. Let's put together a team and let's start figuring out what are the things that we need to do. Listen, if you've been to Laidley, you know it needs some TLC. But we've got Joe Varney over there and making accommodations and figuring out what are the things in which we need to improve upon. And that's what everybody needs to think about when we're competing for these events. Listen, it's not just because, hey, I like this person or, hey, this is about the athletes. It's about the coaches. It's about logistics, too. How do we feed them? How do we get them out? Where are they going to stay? It's not just about, oh, shucks, it's in this city, not this city, because so-and-so is this person or so-and-so knows this person. It really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's a competition to get these. I say all the time, actually, I started with this, right? Tourism. We look like the fun people, don't we? We look like the yay. It's a business. It's a business. That's what this is. It's a business. And it's a good business to be in because the return on investment you get, especially for travel, sports, tourism, is monumental. And, our CVB team here in Charleston knows that. They know it quite well. But I will say this. I know Wheeling, and I know the Island Field like the back of my hand, Dave. I have been there probably more times as many folks have been in Charleston, not only watching, but I grew up there. It was a great facility, and they had what Wheeling special sauce is. Like a lot of our communities, they had unbelievable volunteers, unbelievable parents of the athletes who also helped put that together. And so for many, and we're going to have to step up, by the way. We're going to have to prove that.
Okay,
because they have a special sauce that we need to make sure we have ours.
It's kind of like the dog catching the car.
Yeah,
okay,
got it.
Now you got it. Now what do you get? And you said it yourself. I mean, Laidley Field, University of Charleston Stadium needs some work.
You bet. Absolutely.
And you got a short time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I heard Tim Brady say this: the confidence he has in Joe Varney. I echo that. This is an aggressive team. This is a team that wants good. And listen, there's a lot of pressure to get it right. Okay, yeah, just like you said, we got it. Now what are we going to do? But it really takes a lot of that volunteer aspect. It takes the parents of the athletes and the cheerleaders and the band members to really come together to say, okay, y'all wanted this. Now let's make it happen. Surely there is a great return on investment that we have. But make no mistake about it. People are going to be watching us with a magnifying glass on all of these things and saying, we want it back or we'll take this. And so it's all is fair in love and war for sure. But we've got to put our best foot forward on this.
Since the last time you were on, Mayor, we have a new police chief.
We do.
In Charleston.
And a new deputy.
The interim title has been removed. Mr. Dempsey is now the chief. As you said, there's also a new chief deputy as well. Your comments on those? Yeah.
Scott Dempsey and Jason Webb are two dynamos. They're absolutely fantastic officers in this interview process, and it was time-consuming by design. The application was extensive by design. Because I wanted to make sure that moving forward, this is the way you are selected. You want to be chief of police. By the way, you should be able to compete with every single police officer, not only in your department, but in the state and across the country. I interviewed people within the department, within the state, and across the country for this position. Integrity, hard work, and here's the thing I go back to. Every single officer that I interviewed, sans the one who was out of the state of West Virginia, I said, if you are not the chief of police, who is? Almost every single person. There was one guy who said, "Oh, that's a really great question. Let me think about that," and I never did. Every single one of them. We're talking, close to 9 said Scott Dempsey, like that. No pause. Scott, why? Because he's no joke. He has integrity. He has honor. He's hardworking. He's not going to tell you everything you want to hear. But I will say that that's one person, right? That is one person in a department. Like a mayor is one person in the city. It takes a good team around them. And I know we're going to run out of time, but I have to say this, Dave. On Friday night, I made a call too because we always hear, and it does make news when an officer, somebody gets in trouble, right? Or somebody makes a mistake. Oh boy, it's on the front page. We're talking about it on the radio. On Friday night, I called an officer, and I want to get into details because I don't want to talk about the family because this is a private situation. Officer Adam, okay? Officer Adam will come. I called him because you know what he did this past week? He got a call from parents who are parents of a child with autism and was having a bad day and needed help. They called the Charleston Police Department to help them. And Officer Adam went to their house and he sat with them and he talked through them. And they were worried about some health issues with them. So he worked through sitting with our EMS team with this young man who was not having a good day. That's the kind of stuff you get in the Charleston Police Department. We just don't talk about it a lot. But, that's something that Chief Dempsey does and Jason Webb does. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Sure, we have bad days, but man, oh day, we have more good days than we do bad days.
Quick text, asked the mayor to look into cleaning up the housing situation along Crescent Road on the west side between Garrison Avenue and Market Drive. This area can be easily observed from I-77 southbound lane. Looks really deplorable to outsiders traveling through the city.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, noted. Let's take a quick phone call, and then we'll talk about the Woolworth anniversary before we let the mayor go.
Yes, sir.
Our friend Jim is here.
Jim!
Go ahead, Jim.
Good morning, Mayor. How are you?
Good morning, my friend Jim. How are you? Most important.
Well, I'm doing okay. I am now in Ritchie County. I had to have a toe amputated on my left foot. because of infection, but I'm doing well.
Wonderful.
I have to have 24-hour care, but I'm not going to give up.
I know you're not. Your spirit won't let you. I saw that. I saw Amanda had posted that, and Andrew and I were actually, from our team in the mayor's office, we were just talking about you on Wednesday. But I am so glad to hear your voice, and I'm so glad that you still stay so connected to all of us. You're a shining light, Jim.
I wanted to ask you, what kind of TLC is on the books to go into the municipal auditorium? Because it is a historical icon, and it don't need to have the wrecking ball.
No, I appreciate your comments more than anything, Jim. I will say this: safety is number one, and what is happening right now is a total assessment to see what needs to be done. Are there short-term fixes, long-term fixes, and what's going to be the cost of making those things happen? So we're in the process of that right now, Jim. She has served us well, to be sure. But we've got to make sure that we're using taxpayers' dollars, by the way, to not only make any renovations or to reimagine what she can look like in the future. I know this, Jim. We're now using it, and that's the reason why we found all of these things. We weren't using it really in the past, but starting to use it and starting to see what she can provide to us and a great return on investment. We got to do a lot of work, Jim. Make no mistake.
I can remember the days when the civil defense was in the basement of the auditorium.
You should write a book, Jim. Jim should write a book, right? I mean, he should just write a book. You should, Jim.
All right, Jim, I got to get the mayor out of here. I appreciate your phone call, though. All right, Mayor, it is the 75th anniversary of the Woolworth fire today, so that's one of the reasons why we had to move your schedule around a little bit. And you're headed downtown. Comment on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. If everybody can just lift up thoughts to our family members. March 4th, 1949, we do this every year. The Woolworth fire, which, of course, is on the corner of Courier and Capitol Streets. 7 members of the Charleston Fire Department lost their lives, 15 injured, 2 critically when they went into that fire. The first floor collapsed and they perished. It is a somber day, but it is always a reminder to us that whether it be for personal life or personal property, our first responders, police, fire, EMS workers, they run, they do it. We're very well trained. Obviously, technology has provided us so many, fortunately, better resources and equipment. But the passion is still there. The passion is the same for our EMS workers. They go into the fire. They go into harm's way to help us. That is a true servant's heart, Dave. If there is ever a servant's heart, that's what I think of. You before me. And that's what our fire department and EMS and why we are taking a moment, and apologies for shutting down Capitol Street, but well worth it for us to remember not only the families who lost loved ones, but our families who kiss their husbands and wives when they leave the door every single morning, and to give our deep thanks.
All right, Mayor, I know you got to get out here, and you did mention that there's quite a bit of traffic closures, at least for a couple of hours while this is all going on today.
Thank you. Yeah, and then we should be back open. We're shut down now, and we'll be back open just as we turn the corner here about 10:30.
All right. Mayor, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for squeezing me in.
All
Thanks.
right, thanks a lot. It is 20 minutes away from 10 in the heart of West Virginia. There exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcased in the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington, stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. The Dave Allen Show is brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. As a locally owned real estate powerhouse, they specialize in residential and commercial properties. No property is too big or too small for Meeks Realty. With their team of the finest realtors in the business, Meeks is your trusted partner in finding your dream home or your dream commercial investment. Call them today, 304-440-1101, or visit Meeks.us. Gearing up for another 2 weeks of tournaments here in West Virginia. The voice of high school sports, Fred Persin, is going to preview the girls. Coming up right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Are you looking for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck? Here's Sydney, inviting you to find new roads with Thornhill and check out the new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ and High Country at Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Right now, you can get 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. It's an opportunity to save big on the new Chevy truck that'll haul the winter blues away. Find new roads to Thornhill Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to total savings. US 119 Chapmanville. All offers through GM Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Illegals flooding in. Thousands and thousands more every single day. But what if these non-citizens could also vote in our elections? It's already happening in blue cities across America. What if a liberal judge won't force it here in West Virginia? Legislators are proposing a constitutional change, ensuring that only citizens can vote. But it needs 2/3 to get on the ballot. Tell your legislators, pass only citizen voting. Paid for by Americans for Citizen Voting.
Unsure you're ready for retirement? That's understandable. After all, you only retire once. Make the smart choice and call 4th Avenue Financial. If it deals with retirement planning, you can be confident they have the experience you need. Retire right with 4th Avenue Financial. Go to 4thavenuefinancial.com or call 304-746-7977 to book your free introductory meeting today.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Incorporated, JW Cole Financial, JW Cole Advisors, and 4th Avenue Financial are unaffiliated entities.
Craving a taste of the South right here in Charleston? Head to Time After Time, this week's 50-50 Friday. They're serving up authentic Southern cuisine that'll make your taste buds sing with joy. From mouthwatering fried chicken to savory shrimp and grits, every dish is prepared with love and tradition. Time After Time, 1588 Washington Street East on the East End. Friday at 9 a.m. Go to WCHSnetwork.com and click the 50-50 Friday button to get 50% off gift certificates for Time After Time, courtesy of the WCHS family of networks.
17 away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text, and I'm sorry the mayor had to go, but there was a text about asking if the mayor was going to bring back doo-wop. That's probably not going to happen, from what I understand, and that really wasn't the decision of the mayor. The organizers were the ones that decided to let that go, but I will ask her that the next time that she is on the air. The problem is there's really nowhere to have it. That's from what I understand. All right, let me bring in Fred Persin, the voice of high school sports in West Virginia. Sir Frederick, good morning. Your friend and frequent broadcast partner, Speedy Bevins, and I were talking this morning. He asked me to refer to you as the mayor of high school sports in West Virginia. Is that a fitting title?
I'll answer to about anything.
Okay.
I was introduced yesterday at the SSAC as the legend. And I told him that only means you're old.
Why?
That's all that means.
You've outlived everybody else.
Well, that's exactly right.
So, Fred, the girls get underway tomorrow. And a reminder, you can catch the audio from all the games, WVMetroNews.com. Most of the daytime action on the radio can be found on Charleston's ESPN Radio, 106.7 FM, 1490 AM. Most of the evening session games here on the WCHS network. Overall, Fred, what are we looking for?
We have 16 of the 32 teams that made it last year. They made it back. And of the 4 state champions, 3 of them made it back. The only one that didn't make it back was North Marion. Mm-hmm. North Marion got beat in the regionals. So, I think it shapes up to be really, really good. I think semifinals could be some of the best semifinals we have seen in a long time. You have some veteran teams. When you look in Quad A, for example, first time ever, the George Washington Patriots, the Lady Patriots, they are the number 1 seed. That's the first time ever. And then when you look on down, the 8 seed, which is the team that George Washington will play, is Musselman. First time ever in the state tournament.
The Apple women?
No, it's the Applemen.
It's the Applemen.
I have a lot of people say, Fred, you don't say the Lady Patriots. You're right, I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't say the boy Patriots either.
That's a good way to put it.
If you don't know.
What if Lewis County makes it one year, though?
That's different. They're the Minute Maids.
They're the Minute Maids.
That's right.
They're the Minute Maids, not
fine.
the Minute Men.
If you have a particular name, then it's you call it that.
Yeah.
But no, if it's just the George Washington Patriots, it's the George Washington Patriots. If you can't figure out Irene is playing in a girls' game.
Remember what year it is, Fred.
I'm old school.
And I'll leave it at that. What are some of the teams, Fred, that you think could surprise some people this year? We know about the top seeds, but who are some teams that you think could put out an upset?
All right, let's take it by class. All right, and in Class Quad A, I think a team that they'll have to be watching for is a team that's got a losing record. That's Huntington. Huntington went to Parkersburg. Parkersburg was 20-4 on the season, and Huntington upset them. So if you can do it once, why can't you do it again?
Sure.
And again, I think Huntington has a good shot. I think Greenbrier East has a shot, and Greenbrier East has to play Morgantown in the first game, in fact, tomorrow.
And their coach, Greenberry's coach, what is his name? Jim?
Escapes me now.
Okay.
He's going to be on my show tonight, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, you do have a preview show coming up tonight.
I have a preview show from 7 until 9.
Yeah.
And the governor's going to be one of the guests. We'll have a lot of players on there, so we're looking for that. So in Class AAA, when you look at AAA, certainly the favorite is undefeated East Fairmont. I think without question, Pat Jones's Nitro Wildcats, I think they've got a legitimate shot at getting there. Wayne Pioneers, they're very, very good. They're the number 2 seed. I think they can get to championships Saturday. When you look at Class AA, you've got the defending champions, the Wyoming East Warriors, and I really think somebody's going to have to play awfully well to beat Wyoming East. They are just loaded with talent. They have ran roughshod over every opponent they've played this year in their class. Williamstown's got a shot at it, but I really think Wyoming East is the team to beat there. And then in Class Single A, I think the team that's almost a guaranteed win, can't do that, can you? Mm-hmm. Cameron is Cameron's not undefeated. Cameron is a 2-time defending champ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have Ashlyn Van Tassel, who is just an unbelievable player.
I saw her play a couple of weeks ago at the Par Mar Shootout, man.
She's amazing.
Fantastic.
Great player. So I think they are certainly the team to beat there as well.
And you mentioned her, but who are some of the other individual players that you're looking forward to seeing this year?
I think for George Washington, Finley Lowen. Finley Lowen is a great outside shooter. Finley's going to be on the show tonight, by the way. Also, George Washington has a great player in Zanaya Zealous is her name. 6'1", 6'2". Just a tremendous inside player. When you start looking at some of the other teams, as far as individual players go, Gilmer County's got a 6'4". You saw them. You saw Gilmer County at Par Mar Shootout too, and the young lady that is 6'4" inside, she plays extremely well. Tucker County's back. Macy Helmick is one of the better players I think in the state. So we've got some good talent coming up this week.
And again, all the action gets underway tomorrow. And, of course, the boys' regionals are going on this week. It is the most wonderful time of the year, Fred.
It's a busy time, but it is good. It is good, yeah. So.
And, again, that preview show with Fred will air tonight at 7 o'clock. Fred, as always, pleasure. We'll be listening, and we'll see you this week at the Coliseum Convention Center. And we get you on next Monday, too. You get to do the same thing
with the boys?
For the boys' teams.
How come your co-host, Larry, doesn't say a whole lot?
Well, Shockley's just hanging out here right now. He's going to come on next to
anytime I am in the presence of a legend such as yourself, sir.
Yeah, but
the best thing for me to do is to shut up and listen.
But what about Fred?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I'm just in awe of both of you.
Shockley's just hanging.
I missed that too. You thought he was talking about you.
Yeah, he's talking about me. But Shockley's going to be coming up in the next segment. But Fred, always a pleasure, man.
My pleasure, my friend. It's always good to help you out with your ratings.
Yes. They go through the roof when Mr. Persin is on. We had a good friend of mine last week in the building, Mike Stone, who Logan, one of the legends of the late 70s Logan team. And I noticed that Mr. Stone always calls you Mr. Persinger. You've told him repeatedly to call you Fred. And what does he call you? Mr. Persinger.
Well, I'm so much older than Mike. It happens.
All right.
It happens.
All right, Fred, we'll be listening tonight. We'll be listening all week long, man. Thanks a lot. It is 11 minutes away from 10. The Dave Island Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Get ready for the Mountaineers and the Thundering Herd back at Gilmore Ballpark on Tuesday, March 12th. For ticket information, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com or check out the Dirty Birds social media pages. The aforementioned Shockley is here because we're going to talk about a business that is no longer a business here in the area, Budget Tapes and Records, and he's got a little expertise in that department because he got fired from there, or he actually worked there twice. I don't know when he's fired on. We'll talk to him. We come back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Are you looking for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck? Hey, it's Sydney, inviting you to find new roads with Thornhill and check out the new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ and High Country at Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Right now, you can get 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. It's an opportunity to save big on the new Chevy truck that'll haul the winter blues away. Find new roads to Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to Total Savings, US 119 Chapmanville. All offers through GM Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
If there's not a Par Mar store near you now, there will be soon. You hear us say that a lot, but it's true. Wherever you may go, chances are you'll find a Par Mar store there, offering everything you need to get you in and then back on the road as soon as possible. From gas to groceries and snacks and items for your house, we have it at Par Mar stores. Download the app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card, too. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
There's nothing like the vibrant colors of fall in West Virginia or the beauty of a mountain state sunset. Optometrists understand your vision is important. As primary eye care providers, optometrists deliver comprehensive and advanced treatments for eye diseases using state-of-the-art technology. Whether you're exploring the splendor of the mountains or gazing at the starlit skies, your local optometric physician is there to make sure you see your best by providing the highest level of care allowed by state law. Find more information about your local doctor of optometry at eyecarewv.com.
Legislators have 400 million reasons not to touch West Virginia's unemployment fund. That's how much our state's unemployment fund currently has. $400 million you and I worked hard for to protect us if we lose our job. Why would politicians cut money we earn and rely on? Cutting unemployment, making it harder on our families is not why we sent them to Charleston. Tell legislators, hands off our unemployment. It's our money, not theirs.
Paid for by the West Virginia AFL-CIO.
808 from Tampa, Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues like heart disease, diabetes, and more. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetroNews.com under the podcast menu and start your journey towards better health today. Text says, we need the House Republicans, especially the judiciary members, to put Senate Bill 280 on the agenda and get this bill passed. It's the bill that would allow students and teachers to freely discuss all possibilities regarding the origin of the universe and the origin of life. This bill must pass this session, says a texter. Texter says, kudos to Fred for not being politically correct. We have too much of that crap. Hoppy is in Morgantown for Metro News Talk on Day 1006, entering the final day of the 60-day regular legislative session. Brad and Hoppy will dive into that, plus Tony Caridi is on the show today to talk Mount Air basketball. Jared Halpern is on Fox News, or from Fox News, is on the show today, as is Ryan Schmelz, also Fox News. We're going to talk about Super Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Talk Line with Hoppy coming up at 10:06. So the announcement was made last week that another iconic business was going to be closing in Kanawha City on the heels of tearing down the Hooters building. Last week, we learned that Budget Tapes and Records was closing its doors forever after 50-some-odd years in business. Shockingly, from our sister station, 98.7 Mountain, Wild, Wonderful Classic Rock, not only a big fan of the place, but he also worked there. And he joins us now. Shock, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, honor and a privilege to be on the, what is it? Is it the Dave Allen Show? Is it?
I call it the show. It's the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live.
Well, it is your gig. And it's awesome stuff.
Well, I appreciate, Shock, he was hanging out with Animal on the morning show up there, and then he came down here, and he sat here for the whole show, and you managed to sit through the Derrick Evans interview without saying a word.
As I said, I used to listen to Art Bell all the time, and, aliens, they live among us. It's the same thing. It's just a different, way.
So shockingly, as someone who didn't grow up in Charleston, I was still well aware long before I ever went there for the Budget Tapes and Records, probably sometime in the mid-'80s for me, the first time I made a trip there, because I heard all the radio commercials and I saw the ads on television, whatever. It was truly a legendary business here in Charleston.
Yeah, it was. It was the cool place to be, the cool place to hang out at, and that is saying a whole lot when in the mid to late 1980s, you had the Charleston Town Center Mall that was there, was rocking, had 3 record stores. Still, a lot of folks were saying you need to get up to budget. The legendary place, it had been there since 1972. Dave Pope, who is the man who started the place, he had worked at another place called Pepperland. And about a couple months ago, I ran into Dave, and he told me a little story about how he was working at Pepperland, and that was kind of a lifestyle boutique. If you wanted your clothes and your jewelry, you would go to Pepperland. Over top of it was a record store called Sights and Sounds. So, and that was in the arcade building in Charleston. And he said that he was working at Pepperland, and he went out of town, and supposedly he came back, and he thought that he might not have a job when he came back. So he thought, I'll start my own place in Kanawha City, and it just worked out really well. And there was also multiple locations all over Charleston. They were located in the basement of the Daniel Boone Hotel and also on Courier Street.
And to say that Budget was quirky
Yes.
Would be an understatement.
It definitely was quirky, and it was one of those things where, especially in 1972 and through to the 80s, there were a lot of things that you were sold there that it's kind of surprising now, looking back on it, that they were being sold out in the open. However, fortunately, I guess you could say, when the music business became so stealable, so easy to be stolen music, and so the sales took a hit. They had these other things that could draw you in, the clothing and the whole lifestyle thing, and so that really helped.
The lifestyle. No doubt. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, well, I have no doubt that kept them afloat for a good couple decades. Otherwise, a place of business that large would have gone under.
Right. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, keep it safe, keep it legal. With Pinnacle Consultants, they can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead is the law in West Virginia. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can't hurt you. And you worked there a couple of times there at Budget?
Yeah, I worked there in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was just wonderful. I mean, it was, for a rock and roller, it was like going to church, man. And you loved being there. You loved being a part of it, the whole vibe. I just remember always getting my coffee, headed there. The break room, make our sandwiches come out. And we were so passionate about what we did. And also, we had a Ticketmaster outlet. So that was another cool thing. When Ticketmaster first came in, they came to us to buy tickets. So Saturday morning, the on sales, we had people that covered the whole region. Not only was it the Charleston area, you could come to us to buy tickets to Chicago, Pittsburgh, Lexington, Kentucky. And I still have people to this day that I run into that I met at the camp out for different concert tickets, Guns N' Roses tickets for Lexington, Kentucky. I met people at the camp out for those tickets outside budget, because everyone knew that they could go there and buy their tickets. It was just a wonderful place, and it's a huge hold in my heart now.
So you got to, you were hanging out there the last couple of days. You actually did a video that we posted on our sister station, 987 Mountains, social media.
Yes, sir.
This is kind of personal to you.
It hurts badly that place is not there. And there have been several people that have mentioned the candlelight vigil that is supposedly going to take place tonight. And they're like, man, are you coming? We're going to play and all of that. And it hurts to my core that in a lot of ways I would rather just be able to be ignorant and convince myself that it's still there and it always will be.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Husson's Pizza. Get an 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a pizza bowl, only $22.99. Find your nearest Husson's at hussonspizza.com for delivery, pickup, or dine in. All right, so Shockley, thanks for stopping by this morning. Cheap plug. You can listen to Shockley playing the best in classic rock weekdays and weekends, Saturdays anyway, from 10 till 3 on 987 Mountain Wild, wonderful classic rock.
These stacks of X and the miles of smiles.
You could have gone all day and not done that. All right. Shockley, I appreciate you being here, man. RIP Budget Tapes and Records.
Yes. Shout out to Angie Clark, former employee there as well.
All right, we got to go. Coming up on the show tomorrow, State Agriculture Commissioner Kent Leonhardt's on the show. We're going to have more on the upcoming vote in Putnam County for an emergency services levy, and Melanie Rucker, who's a candidate for Kanawha County Magistrate, will stop by as well. Hoppy coming up at 10:06. My producer was the A-Train, Anthony Harmon. Thank you so much. Follow the news of the day, WVMetroNews.com, and at WCHSNetwork.com as well. Enjoy the beautiful weather, folks. I will see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes.
A WVRC media station.
We're proud to live here too.